Rise and shine. Pour yourself a cup of coffee and tune in to Good Morning Aurora. News, weather, and really cool interviews. Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 a.m.
All right, good morning to you.
Good morning, Curtis.
How's everything?
Groovy.
Good to see you, and thank you for doing this.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
So for our listeners and our viewers, let us know who you are, first of all, and where you're from.
Okay, well, my name is Melissa Mercado, and I'm the Executive Director of the Fox Valley Music Foundation. Okay. And I was born right here in Aurora, Illinois.
East side or west side?
I'm an East Sider, I'm a Tomcat.
Okay, all right. Good to have another Tomcat on here. We've been a little Blackhawk heavy for a while now.
We have to fix that.
Yeah, we do. We either need equilibrium or, something else. A little bit. Okay. Is this also where you attended and went to high school?
I went to East High.
Okay.
And came all the way up through East Side School District 131.
What was the East High School District like in those days? What significant changes have you noticed?
Oh, wow. It's hard to pinpoint. I mean, I think that the education I had was stellar. Going through when I did, it was a very progressive educational community. Matter of fact, my parents both went to Catholic schools, also on the east side. Okay. But because of the progressive nature of education and gifted programs and things like that, and sports and arts, particularly that were offered at the time, they made the decision to send us to O'Donnell School, which fed into Simmons Junior High School at that time, and then on to East Aurora. Okay,
O'Donnell, Simmons, and then East. All right, so you are baked in the cake, as they say, of the East Aurora community.
You got it.
All right. So what is your post-high school education?
I attended the University of Illinois, and that's where I received my degree in Bachelor of Fine Arts in Graphic Design.
Okay. All right. What was Aurora like at that time? What was the big attractions here in the city? And I asked that question because there's a lot of, when folks come on the show or send us things, the nostalgia element, they always shower us at that.
Well, when I was a young girl, we would come downtown here. It was town. We'd go to town. People would think Chicago these days, but no, town was Aurora. And this is where we did all of our shopping. Then in the late 70s, the Fox Valley Mall came into being, and that was a big thing. Right. Sadly, it kind of cleared out a lot of the mom and pop businesses down here, and people, did their shopping there. But it was kind of cool to take the bus out to the mall with your girlfriends and hang out, and that sort of thing.
So on the one hand, the small business community that was here was taken away due to the mall coming up, but then the mall did provide something else.
Right, it was entertainment for young people. It was a gathering place.
Yeah. That's interesting. I've seen pictures of the mall now. I've seen pictures of it, or rather that area before the mall. A lot of cornfields. Aurora wasn't...
Lots of cornfields. Yeah. Aurora, Batavia, Geneva. Believe it or not, I could ride my bike from... I lived in the Aurora Township area on the far northeast side. Okay. Little bit called Marywood. Okay. Still unincorporated, most of it. And I could easily ride my bike up and down Randall Road. I had friends that lived out in the country, and if I wanted to ride their horses, I had to bike it over there. Can you imagine riding a bike down the middle of Randall Road these days?
Yeah, that would be, it would look insane. Yeah, seriously.
Same thing, I learned to drive a car when I was 12 years old, and the way I learned was, headed out towards the mall. There were dirt roads, there was the rickety bridge on Liberty Street, which is no longer there, but it was a good time to go over that thing as fast as you could. So
good memories?
Good memories, great memories, yeah.
Okay, music, entertainment, the embrace and highlight of the arts. Have you always had an interest in music?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't realize that I did, but I did. I took piano lessons, as most, girls and boys do. I think as soon as I could learn to read, I learned to read music, and took piano lessons for several years. And I'm the oldest of 5 children, so as my siblings came up, we kind of had an unofficial band and violins and recorders and things like that. We had a good music program in our grade school, and a really good choir director. So I was in the honor choir from the 4th grade up, and I learned. It just became part of what we did. It was always there.
What kind of music do you listen to?
Well, truth be told, I'm a real Beatles fan, and I love Frank Sinatra, but I'm very diverse in my musical tastes. Jazz, a little bit of country, like indie. Didn't know I liked bluegrass until we started having things at the venue, and that really speaks to me.
Yeah, and the thing about bluegrass, I may as well ask this question. So, where's that line between it's blues and then it's bluegrass, or what separates that?
I think it's a personal thing. I think it's who's singing the song.
Okay.
I mean, but blues definitely has a little bit more of the, guitar riffs and things, and bluegrass tends to use different instruments a little bit, and, more of a ballady, country tone, a little bit more twang, I think, and storytelling.
I've asked that too about blues and rock. Where does the line at? Because they seem to blend. So, I mean, what's Clapton, right? Is he rock or is he blues?
He's a little bit of both. It's kind of like that old Donnie and Marie thing, a little bit country, a little bit rock and roll.
Right.
But they, the saying goes that the blues had a baby and they called it rock and roll. So.
How have I never heard that before? The blues had a baby and they called it rock and roll.
Yeah.
I like that. And Donnie Marie Osmond.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Sorry, I'm dating myself.
No. For our listeners, like Donnie Marie, if they want to go TikTok that, it's not TikTokable.
No.
Okay. Growing up, what impact did your dad have in your life?
My dad had a huge impact on me. My dad lived to serve. He served his family. He served his country in the Navy, which you viewers out there cannot see it, but there's a lovely United States Navy flag here. He was a firefighter. He was born and raised here in the city of Aurora as well, and he was very avid supporter of the Boy Scouts. He came from a long line of scouting, and he lived it,
Right.
all the time. Service is what he did, and he was always willing to impart his knowledge in any way to others. I lost my dad when he had a heart attack fighting a fire when he was 51, so pretty young.
Wow.
And but he taught me a lot of things about life and about how to take care of a car and change your own tire and
Right.
and build things, and he was a huge impact on me, musically as well.
As most dads, you want your kids to do better than you. You want them to be the best and be the greatest. And as a father now, I get what it means to support your kids in whatever the heck it's doing. I saw a meme not too long ago that was like, instead of telling your kids, like, that sounds crazy, tell them that sounds great. Like, why is the sky blue? Whatever it is, just, hey, maybe you could be the guy to figure it out. Maybe you could be the person to figure that out.
Right. Build them up, not
Exactly.
tear them down.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, in 2010, the Aurora Civic Center Authority, with Paramount as spearhead, took over Blues on the Fox from COA, City of Aurora. What, if anything, was added to or changed as a result of that change in management?
It's funny that you should ask that question. In 2010, I worked for the Aurora Civic Center Authority. I was the marketing director there, and I had become involved with the Blues on the Fox committee that was the former holder of the festival.
Right.
That, produced it. And as marketing director, I kind of became an unofficial liaison between the theater and the city, and became a full-fledged member of the committee. So it underwent quite a bit of changes. The festival started out, obviously, or maybe not obviously to some of your viewers, as a grassroots street festival. And it came about because of some very important blues recordings that were made at the top of the Leland Tower here in Aurora in the 30s. Sonny Boy Williams, Tampa Red, all of that. And this very, very small group of folks thought, what a great thing to do. Let's put it on the map. Let's make it a festival. Let's see if we can grow this thing. And over the years, hands changed, people came and went from the committee. And then, as you say, in 2010, the Paramount, was asked by, I think, Mayor Tom Weisner to, take over, so to speak. And our little group continued to advise a little bit, and I'm including myself in the Blues Committee at this point in time. And suggest up-and-coming blues artists, traditional blues artists, help put together the schedule, the lineup for the festivals.
Right.
And then that was the precursor to River Edge Park.
Aha.
And I do believe that festival is largely responsible for its being here. Over the years, the growth of the festival showed that there was a demand for this in downtown Aurora, and besides blues, what other, genres of music could come in, what else could be put on that stage. And the Paramount and the city were a natural partnership, given that they were already in entertainment.
Right.
And they knew that aspect of it. The city had the means for the large, scale productions. And, so that was just in its incubation stage, I guess, in 2010. You fast forward a few more years, and now you have this beautiful park and a Blues on the Fox festival that was hosting, several thousand people instead of a few hundred.
Right.
So there's a big evolution there. Over time, the Blues on the Fox committee, that had been running out to the airport to pick up musicians, several years earlier. We're now just kind of serving as an advisory board, not even a board, just a committee, making suggestions and, of course, attending the festival and having a great time, and sometimes emceeing on stage. And, that's kind of, what was going on at that point in time. Later on, the foundation came into being because we, all were blues lovers.
Right.
Wanted to continue.
What do you like most about what you do?
Oh, I love the variety. When you put on 4 shows a week, 52 weeks a year, in a good year, we're not even going to talk about last year.
The year that shall not be named,
yes,
right?
Yes, just like Voldemort and Harry Potter. I like the variety. I like getting to know the musicians on a personal level. So many times people are starstruck by the people that, stand up on a stage, but really they're human beings. They're just like you and I. They have families, they're working their tails off, and I like the teamwork. It definitely it doesn't happen by accident. We have a booker, Donnie Biggins, who we brought on board about 4 months ago. He's wonderful. We have our sound and light guys, and we have a tremendous group of volunteers, and the effort that they put forth on a daily basis to make sure that things happen. It's just phenomenal.
I like what you got. So I have volunteered at the venue. This was like in 2018 or 19. I had a great time. A couple shows are there. Sure Thing was one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Another one escapes me at the moment. I had a good time with it. and I see that you guys have a new person, Abby
Enos.
Enos,
Yes.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to clear up my schedule to come back and do some more volunteering with you guys.
We'd love to have you.
Because I like the and I asked that question about what you like to do, because like the atmosphere is cool.
Thank you.
That's the thing that I like about it. Like sometimes even if you are volunteering, well, the rule of volunteering is that the volunteers have to feel cool about it too. They have to like what they do. I mean, that's how you get good people to do things. Like that atmosphere and everybody in there, I've always liked. Like it's chill. Like, okay, we got some.
It's a good vibe, and you know, they bring a passion to what they do, and that's the thing. If you have a talent, you know, or if you don't have a talent, there's always something that can be done at the venue. You know, if you love music, music's such a great equalizer.
Absolutely.
You know, and everybody has their favorites, and you know, being a volunteer, you can come in, you can help out a little, and you can have access to a great concert, and socialize with friends, and it's nice to, it's like we're a big family, really.
Yeah. And when I did volunteer, one of the things they put a skinny guy like me on security. So I was like, you know, I love these people.
I remember.
They see the passion.
Yes, I do remember that.
All right. Now let's talk about the blues, which is a genre I love. Mm-hmm. Aurora has a familiarity with blues historically. Tell us a little bit about it, please.
As I mentioned earlier, the blues in Aurora was something that was sparked in the 1930s at the top of the Leland Tower in a club called the Sky Club. And at the time, Chicago musicians were coming out from the city, taking the train, because the Aurora is the last stop on the Burlington Northern.
Yep.
And that ballroom, the Sky Club, had great acoustics. You know, it's now been broken up into condominiums, but it was quite the place to chill and see and be seen in the 30s.
Right.
And this group came out 1931 to 32, and they recorded approximately 337 tracks on the Bluebird record label. Mm-hmm. And out of that, some very important music was made that has been covered hundreds of times over the last decade.
Right.
Good Morning Schoolgirl, you know, and several others. So that, you know, is why these musicians came out here. We've done a lot of research. There are a lot of theories. I know at the time that there was some, you know, Chicago union issues with black musicians. Mm-hmm. And so maybe it was more economical for them to come out and do things here. But I think it was because it was accessible and the sound was so great. So, and as well as economical.
You know, all of the above.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't play blues, but I think of the progression of this show. Mm-hmm. I mean, I started the show in my bathroom because it was the best place to like record and get away from the yeah, it was quiet. So I can dig it. I can totally dig it. Okay, and so Bluebird Records. I'm actually gonna follow up and do some stuff like that. Now you mentioned Sonny Boy Williams.
Tampa Red.
Okay.
Big Bill Brunzi.
I'm familiar with, because it's Broonzy.
Yes.
I'm familiar with that name. I have to go dig that up. Big Bill Brunzi. Okay. Preserve, promote, protect, and present. Mm-hmm. The wonderful music of the Fox Valley. How exactly does the Fox Valley Music Foundation do that?
Well, a number of ways. We, for a long time, one of our goals, and this is a future goal after having, you know, built our bricks and mortar, but we would like to obtain the rights to some of that music that was recorded in the Sky Club. Okay. And remaster it using today's modern methods and make it available to others. So we have an ongoing, conversation with Sony Music. And as you can imagine, they're some of the biggest, you know, that there is. So it's been a long journey, to say the least. But We also do interviews, much like this one that we're having right now, with people that have had an effect on music here in Aurora, whether they have played in a band, have a music store. A fellow named Art Sheridan had a direct link to the Beatles, who is an Auroran, and so he was the first in a documentary series that we have been doing called Music Notes.
He was a veteran.
He was.
World War II.
Yes.
That's right. Art. That's right. Yep.
Yes. And so he was one of our very first interviews, and we make that archival footage available for research. We have on the Fox Valley Music Foundation website, there is our some in-depth stories and links, of course, to some of these other celebrities that we have seen fit to honor. At some point in time, we would like our foundation to be able to create some type of a there already is a Fox Valley Arts Hall of Fame, but we would like to, kind of take the next step and do something similar to Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, in downtown Aurora, but not specifically to rock and roll, to Fox Valley musicians. As far as presenting, we do quite a bit of music at our place, and we like to feature local musicians, whether as openers or as headliners, and we invite folks from all over the place to tap into that. We also advise musicians that are up and coming and kind of help advocate for them. There's a business to music that, everybody thinks it's so simple to get up and sing on a stage if you have the pipes, but it's more than having the pipes. It's more than having the talent. It's getting your name out there. It's getting good representation. It's, knowing how to read a contract, knowing how to market yourself. So we assist some of our folks with that, and that kind of leads into what we've been doing over the last year while we were shuttered, in having done live streams and using mostly local talent to do that, but making the edited film footage available to them to use for their own marketing purposes. So that's also one of our things that we do.
That's awesome. Okay, now we mentioned when we talked about the year that shall not be named, but just for a little bit of posterity, what is the biggest impact that COVID has had on your activities? I mean, it would be a no-brainer that you guys were shut down, right?
We were shuttered for 16 months. That being said, we were forced to seek out some way to stay relevant and some way to keep a tiny trickle of revenue coming in. So we had been fortunate in that several years ago a grant was written where we acquired some very nice video equipment through the King County Riverboat Casino grant, the Community Foundation grant, and I believe also a grant from the Dunham Fund here.
Oh, yeah.
And so that allowed us to immediately, and when I say immediately, it was like 3 weeks before we got our live stream up and running. But we went through a learning curve a little bit, but after a couple of months, we were able to do a 3-camera shoot of bands that we brought into the venue, socially distanced, everybody wearing masks. So there was a total of probably whoever was on stage, and then 3 camera guys, that were out in the audience. So no more than 10 ever. But, and we did live streams for donation. We didn't want to monetize it for ourselves, but because we're a foundation, we were able to give those donations to the musicians who were struggling to help them pay their bills. And we had formed quite a regular audience. We did that until the following summer, when we were kind of briefly allowed to reopen, and then of course things went terribly wrong with the climbing of the positivity rate, and we were closed again. But at that time, we had enough experience under our belt with the live streams to just immediately switch back, and we started doing a couple of them a week. And, we were able to bring artists in Chicago got wind of what we were doing, and then we had a long list of people that were kind of waiting in line to do live streams, and we had some blues, Toronzo Cannon. He opened the venue. He was our very first show.
Yeah, that was in our news. We were shouting that out. At that time.
And he came back and he did a live stream, and he was so impressed with the quality of our video that he talked to his record company, and they came back and they did a full-on shoot. So during COVID, so that he could put his film out there at other festivals, at other virtual festivals. So that was really kind of a feather in our cap. Big shout out to Toronzo for recognizing that this small group of volunteers could make some real good things happen. So.
Yeah, kudos to keeping it moving and keeping it alive. You gotta do what you gotta do.
And I have to say, we could not have done that with the volunteers that brought their time, their talent, their knowledge, and sometimes their own personal equipment to make it happen.
Right. Okay. Now we're seeing a return of entertainment, guests, and the music experience return to our city. How prepared is the Fox Valley Music Foundation to meet any growing demand?
100%.
Okay. Resounding. I like that.
Yes.
I like that.
We are ready, willing, and able to meet the demand. We knew this year was going to be a challenge as well. So we wrote some more grants in order to present our Music in Mundy Parks series. And we are presenting live music since the first weekend in June, outdoors, socially distanced,
right.
And on every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night. And I think it's been very well received.
I think so too. I see and know a lot of people who go out there, so I'm always looking in their Instagram story or the Facebook story and all that. I will say, I think you guys have, it's so well placed right there though too. I remember when that was opened. Mm-hmm. When it was Mundy Park, when it was the ribbon cutting or what have you for that. And it was kind of sad to pass by it during the pandemic and just see nothing.
It was.
I mean, it's set up for many humans to be out here hanging and chilling, and then it was nothing.
The parks, it was built. Wally Mundy, the park is named after his mother, Agnes Mundy, got wind of what we were doing at the Music Foundation when we were in the building stages, and over kind of a casual conversation, he just asked, I'm thinking about redoing that park, what would you like to see out there? And on a piece of yellow legal paper, just like you have in your hand right now, we did just a simple line sketch, and then he took that and ran with it and added things, and we ended up with a gorgeous park, which on our end, we decided that, if there was going to be a park out there, we needed to cut a hole in our south wall to put in our giant garage door so that we could utilize it. So we did not have the forethought. We did not know what was coming around the pike with the pandemic. But thank goodness that we did what we did and are able to utilize that this summer, and keep everybody safe, socially distanced, but able to enjoy live music again.
You guys are doing great work over there.
Thank you.
Okay, now, so I asked what you like most about what you do already. What I'd like to know is, do you have any favorites or is any greatest hits that you guys have put on that you're like, man, that was an awesome one, or we should do this one again?
Yeah, funny you should ask. I actually have a couple of favorites.
Okay.
Something that the venue developed early on, we really wanted to make sure that people were being here I go stuttering, that patrons got a taste of many genres of music and original music. We were a little bit high-minded when we opened up, and we didn't want to have tribute bands or bar bands, because people could go anywhere and listen to that. Not that it's not great music, it is, and those are the standards, and that's what people sing, when they're in the shower and stuff. But we really wanted to, kind of just make it a music listening room experience. But there is a demand for tributes, and people want to hear the music they're familiar with. So we started a series called Album Cover Tribute. We're not trying to emulate any given band. What we do is we take an album, a beloved album that everybody knows and loves, and then Scott Tipping, our music director, assembles an ensemble band that is particularly suited to the featured album, and then they play that album track by track, both sides, cover to cover.
That's awesome.
And it's been a sellout, huge success since its inception, which we rolled out with the Beatles' 50th anniversary of Abbey Road. We've done Tom Petty, we've done Fleetwood Mac, and that's our nod to covering.
Yeah, okay. I like some Tom Petty.
So that's a great one.
Yep.
And then more recently, Cody Dekoff, Chicago farmer, and Toronzo Cannon. They've just been very, very good friends to the Music Foundation, and they never disappoint, always sell out, and it's a good time.
The show ends on a positive note. What is your message today for the people of Aurora?
We're all about community. We're all about collaboration. And I will leave you with a quote that's been one that I have on the wall in my office. It's attributed to Muhammad Ali. Service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. And I really believe that. And I think that in a small way, we're providing a service to our community by bringing live music and by making it available and affordable to our community.
It's well received. It's well received. Yeah, you guys are doing good. So on behalf of Good Morning Aurora, we really appreciate your time for coming on and talk to folks. For all of you listeners and viewers out there, please support the venue and Fox Valley Music Foundation and hang out at Mundy Park, because it was built for us.
Built for music. Thank you, Curtis.
No problem.